Hi, I'm Andrew Lewin, founder of SpeakUpForBlue.com. Speak Up for Blue, if you don't already know, is my way of supporting the ocean conservation movement, the blue movement as I like to call it. I wasn't really planning on doing a video today, except I read this article this morning on yahoo.com that really got my blood boiling. It was about this fisherman on the East Coast in Massachusetts that was out ground fish trawling for bottom fish that sit at the bottom of the ocean, using a trawl net, and caught an 881-pound tuna by mistake. Now this tuna is massive, and tuna can go for a really high cost on the fish market, up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the problem was he didn't catch it legally. So I want you to check out this story through this video, and I want you to watch the story all the way through. It's just about 3 minutes long, and I want you to check it out, and I'll tell you my opinion on it after.
It was the catch of a lifetime. Commercial fisherman Carlos Rafael and his crew caught an 881-pound bluefin tuna off the coast of Massachusetts. But when they docked, the federal government took the fish that could have been worth thousands of dollars. And joining us right now is fisherman and owner of Carlos Seafood, Carlos Rafael, up in Boston. Carlos, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so November the 12th, you get a call from your crew. We've got an 881-pound bluefin tuna. I know, one was sold a while back in Japan for over $300,000 at that size, so you got to be seeing dollar signs in your eyes. You go to meet the boat at the dock, and you'd already called the appropriate officials. What happened next?
When we backed the truck into Provincetown to haul the fish back into New Bedford so it could be sold, it was an agent over there, and he asked what did we have in board of the boat, and we told him we got ground fish, and also the captain was so proud, and I got a big bluefin tuna. So the agent started looking at him. He says, "What do you mean you got a bluefin tuna?" He says, "Yes, I do, and I have the permits to be able to catch tuna." So I bought permits for every one of my vessels for the past 3 years. We figured one of these days we would catch the big one. So we caught the big one, and I guess we had to give it to the government.
Oh, that's just so crazy. So the feds there at the dock said because you didn't catch it with a rod and reel, and you caught it with a net, you had to give it up. Now, every time you went to buy one of your tuna permits, and I understand you bought 15 through the years, did anybody ever tell you, "Hey, Carlos, if you catch a tuna, you got to do it with a rod and reel, not a net"?
No, I was never told of that.
Oh, man.
But the government will tell you, you're supposed to know. I mean, I'm supposed to know everything. I mean, if I was to know all the laws of the land, I'll spend all my time just reading the laws of every law that's been put in the books.
Yeah. Well, here's what the federal government said to the Cape Cod Times up there. The matter is still under investigation. If it's determined that there has been a violation, the money will go into the asset forfeiture fund. Okay, so the tuna has been sold for around $5,000. How much of that money are you going to get, Carlos?
None. I have to give it all to the government. And one of the federal agents came to my office a couple of days ago, and they gave me a warning. I mean, at least they were good enough. They didn't give me a fine. I could have got a fine for $10,000 or $20,000.
Sure.
Only God knows how much they could have fined me for.
That's because this is a regulation nation. That just seems so unfair. Well, Carlos, thank you very much for getting up early there in Boston and telling us your story. That is crazy.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Happy fishing. All right.
So by the end of this video, you probably know why I'm doing this video. Leave it up to Fox News to really manipulate a story. I admit the fisherman probably caught the tuna by accident. But it's still, you cannot catch a tuna using a trawl net. These things are huge. There's a reason why you have to catch it by a rod and reel, because it's harder to bring in, you'll bring in less. If people were allowed to bring it in using a trawl net, they'd bring in plenty. They'd bring in tons of it. And they'd make a killing doing it, but while doing it, they would destroy the tuna fishing, the tuna populations. So there's a couple things I really have a problem with. One, this fisherman, what a baby. goes on Fox News, tells a story about how he caught this massive fish and doesn't get any money from it. Well, I'm sorry, pal. You have the permits. On the permits, it probably tells you, I'm 100% sure that it tells you that you need a rod and reel to catch a tuna. You have 15 of the permits. Did you tell me you didn't read any of them that closely? I mean, come on, how much are you spending for each permit? You must be spending a ton of money, and you don't read them? That just doesn't sound right at all. Then you have Fox News, who's trying to get back at the government any way they can, calling it a regulation nation. Well, I'm sorry, without regulations, the tuna population would be decimated. And without regulations, our ocean environment would be decimated because oil and gas and fishing would run rampant without any kind of regulation. It's proven fact. Look what's happened in the past. I mean, the tuna population is already, the Atlantic tuna population is already in trouble because of the oil spill that occurred in the Gulf of Mexico. Where that oil spill occurred was right in the middle of a spawning area, a major spawning area for Atlantic tuna. So the government is actually doing the right thing in this situation for once. I mean, how often does that happen? They're actually protecting the ocean environment instead of siding with industry and fishermen. So I'm pretty proud of the U.S. government. Even though I'm not an American citizen, I'm pretty proud of the U.S. government to standing up for this kind of thing. Yes, it was an accident. Probably wasn't done on purpose. The guy didn't get fined, and he lost out on $5,000. But he still has everything. And the tuna population is that much more protective because the government set a bit of an example. I mean, if I were them, I would have fined the guy, but it probably was by accident. That's probably why he didn't get fined. He's pretty lucky. But it goes to show that the American government is actually doing something to protect their tuna. So this is why I had to do this video blog today, because the way Fox News handles the regular politics in the U.S. is atrocious. And now they're doing it with the marine environment. And they didn't even mention once that the tuna populations are being decimated. So I had to do this vlog, and I had to set the record straight. I'm not a major media outlet, but I do like to tell the truth and to give you my opinion. So I'm going to throw a question at you before I end this little program. Do you believe that this fisherman, Carlos, realized, do you believe that he knew, that he did, sorry, do you believe that he did not know about the regulation that you had to catch the tuna by rod and reel? Or was he just lying? Let me know in the comments section below. I want to hear your opinions. If you like the video, like it on YouTube. Make it a favorite if it's one of your favorites. Share this video. Get the message out there. The major media outlets cannot get away with this kind of reporting. This one-way biased kind of reporting. It's just not the way things should be done, especially when it comes to the ocean environment. So I'm Andrew Lewin, speaking up for the ocean and speaking up for our Atlantic tuna. See you later.